back and forth between us where I just kept caving and like wanting to give him another chance and didn't want to see his life go downhill. And then one day I just woke up and thought, I'm not going through this anymore. Like, it was affecting me. I was turning to drink myself. And I've been sober now for 3 months. I don't drink anymore. And after this has happened, like, this is enough for me to never touch a drop of alcohol ever again. And so basically, he messaged me with a picture of me on like an adult, like ESCORTING, is that, yeah, website, and obviously tried to accuse it, showed it round loads of people that we worked with. At this point, I didn't work there anymore. I'd left. He showed it round everyone that we worked with and told everyone that I was a brass, basically. I said, like, that's not me, why would I do that? And it was awfully convenient that out of all the millions of girls on that website, he managed to pull up my profile. And then I think he had like a DRUG fueled night. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, one morning, I got emails from Viva, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, Viva Street and Adult WORK, saying to verify your email for your account. Now, he tried to say it wasn't him at first, saying it's nothing to do with me. And then he admitted it because he dropped himself in it. So when we was together, when he was having his DRUG fueled nights with all his friends, he would go on, what's the website? The adult website, and pay women to spend time with him, basically, if you catch my drift. And I didn't find this out till after we split up, and he'd been doing it for years. Yeah, AW, that website. Now, I'm going to show you something. So this was what his username was on it. No, it's NAN909. Okay, right. Now look at the username that was made for my account on the websites. Poppy909. So obviously, as soon as I saw that, it clicked straight away that that was him. I texted him it, saying, what is wrong with you using my email for these websites? I said, like, my friends just called me to wake me up. I didn't go to sleep till 3 a.m. and then I've woke up to this. Why are you doing this at 6:22 this morning? What is wrong with you using my email? He then replied saying, stop, calm down, I'll explain later. I was trying to be clever and realised I fucked up again. I'm really sorry for upsetting you once more. I'm really sorry, Sophie, please believe me. So, and I replied back saying, why would you do it? And this makes it so obvious that you made the other one that you were sending round to everybody. Stop trying to publicly humiliate me. I am just literally laid in bed sobbing. Why are you doing this to me? So I was getting loads of calls on no caller ID. And at the time, and to me that makes sense because he was clearly handing out my details on that account. And obviously I've got 3 children. That is putting my children in serious danger because what other information is he giving out? So obviously that terrified me, and that was what hit it for me, that I needed to go to the police because this man is clearly capable of a lot and I don't realise how he can get to me. So that was at that stage where I then said I need to go to the police and move away. I need to get away from this man for my own safety, because at this point he was sending me messages saying that he was, if I didn't get back with him, he was going to unalive, he was going to do this and that. So I went to the police, and it took a lot for me to find the courage to go to the police. Now, every time he fell out with me, I would get a nice, expensive, lavish gift. So every time I was hit or something nasty was done towards me, I would get a lavish gift. And one time he fucked up and he sent it with a card and just left it on my doorstep. And this was after we split up. And the first line in the card says, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been controlling and should let you do what you want with whoever you want, and I shouldn't have got so upset." And that went to the police as evidence. And the card's there, it's all there in evidence, you know, what he said, signed off. And the police said, like, that's a signed confession note. And they said we want that instantly. When I gave my statement to the police, it took about 8, maybe even 9 hours. It was all day. Like, even I got to the stage where I was like, how long is this going to go on for? And like I had a female police officer and she was really sensitive to it. And all the way through, she was saying, like, please do not drop these charges and go back again. Because she said, like, she was telling me about the statistics of how many women go back before they actually go through with the actual charges. She said they go back so many times and drop the charges. And she said, just please promise me you won't, because the things this man's done to you is disgusting. And I said I wouldn't. I said I'll go through. And I'll admit there was a couple times I did go to the police station wanting to drop the charges, but the police officer talked me out of it because he said the things he's telling you is lies. He's trying to scare you, because he was telling me that I was going to prison as well. He told me that that when he got arrested, obviously there was a voyeurism charge, and that was because he'd sent a video of me in doggy position to his friend, and his friend messaged me telling me, and I was humiliated because I thought, like, this is a friend that, like, we actively spent time with and do stuff with, and knowing that, like, his friends saw me like that was just weird. And then, so obviously when they arrested him the day after they took the statement, and they took all his electronics, everything from his house, and then they held him in police custody for up to 24 hours. When they did that, they said they left him for 23 hours because they knew, like, he didn't have a criminal record, and they said they felt like it would make him break and talk, and he didn't. He just denied everything. So he was then told he wasn't to contact me. His bail conditions were not to contact me or my family about me or anyone associated for me, like, around me, and he broke them instantly. He contacted me straight away telling me that he tried to unalive himself in the cell and that it's my fault. And he told me numerous times that if I didn't drop these charges against him, I'll go down as well with him. And that he said he will sooner be unalive than in jail. And that'll be on my head. And he said that to me numerous times, which the police were shown evidence of him saying it. So I got to the stage where I was scared. He was letting himself in my home, which obviously we lived together. So he was letting himself in my home, where my kids were, my safe place, just randomly helping himself, just coming in like it was his place, like he could do what he wanted. And then at this point, we'd come to an agreement that I was going to stay living there. I was going to pay rent every month. And it was absolutely fine. There was no blackmail. There was nothing else that everyone else was saying. The blackmail was all on his part, because at one point he texted me and said, if you drop the charges, I will give you £10,000 and you can go off and start your new life like you so desperately want to do. And this is hungry guy. That's exactly what it was. So he was obviously, as soon as he got arrested, he was suspended. He couldn't work, because obviously you're not allowed to work in the healthcare industry while you're under investigation with the police. It's the laws, how it works. So basically the General Dental Council had to hold a meeting and say, look, you're suspended temporarily until all this dies down. So he had a lot of time off work. Now, I don't think that having the time off work helped him mentally. I think it led him to drink more and do more of the other stuff he was doing. But I didn't really have any contact with him. The odd times he'd contact me, I would just screenshot and send it to the police. And he would get pulled in again, questioned again. So I was then at victim support got me in touch with IDAS, who I have here, where they sent me this. So, hi Sophie, sorry this took me a while. I've spoke to the lead of the York Refuge, so they wanted to put me in like a mother and children hostel temporarily until I found somewhere else for us to live. York would not be suitable for safeguarding reasons. Obviously, it's too close to home. He said, I have given you the contact details below of 5 refuges that have come up on the database with having spaces available, because obviously I'm a mother with 3 children. It's very hard to find one. The closest one was Cambridge. Now, there's the email there with the contact details. This was sent on the 23rd of June last year. So that was when it got to the stage when I was like, I need to go now. So they did send me the contact details. I decided not to go because one of my friends, it caused a lot of uproar with my kids' dads moving them away so far. So one of my friends, thank God bless her, gave me a place to stay with her and her son. Now, when he found out I was staying at hers, she then received messages off him threatening her home and her safety as well, saying as long as Sophie's there, I suggest she get security. I can't remember exactly word for word, but she actually did have to go into the police station and give a statement herself against him, which she did. We went together. Took it in turns to look after each other's kids while each one went in to give a statement. Now, obviously at that point, when I was worrying about my friend and her safety, because she's been through a lot of self in her own life, and obviously she did a lot for me to allow me to stay there, and she was there through the whole relationship, so she knew pretty much everything and how he treated me. So eventually I moved out and I moved to where I am now, which is why I came here to keep my children safe, because my son wasn't going to school. He was terrified of this man, and he was scared he was going to bump into him, and it was like my son had to have therapy because of the things he saw. And to me, like, that wasn't something I wanted to keep reliving for him. So then I moved away and I just got on with my life. I just thought, I can't let this hold me back. I need to carry on. And then in December, I can't remember the exact date. It will be in my emails because obviously I sent it on to the police. Well, actually, it will be in my Facebook messages, won't it? He messaged me in December on Facebook. On the 29th of December at 10:30 p.m. saying, you look like someone I used to know. Cute too. Sorry if I got the wrong person. So obviously I had him blocked on Facebook, but because Candyman had sat all over TikTok saying he had pictures of my kids and weird things like that, like, I deleted my Facebook and made a new one and put a different surname so people wouldn't be able to find me. To be honest, I'd completely forgot about my ex at this point. Like, it had been nearly 18 months. Like, he'd moved on. I'm pretty sure he used to love sending me emails to inform me about all these really attractive women he was on dates with or whatever, and I would just ignore them. But I did that, and then obviously I contacted the police straight away, emailed it to the officer on duty that was dealing with the case, and I sent it to him and I said, look, he's contacted me. He just had his bail conditions ended because it had been so long and he stuck to them for quite a while, so they said, right, we'll take his bail conditions off. So that was when I emailed the police officer and I said, have his bail conditions been dropped? I mean, has he been NFA'd? Because I don't know what's going on with the whole case. And he said, hi Sophie, from when we last, so this is the 14th of January this year. Hi Sophie, from when we last spoke, there is nothing new to update you on. His name is certainly not NFA. He is released under investigation. As the investigation going to CPS will take an unknown amount of time for a response, was he aware that it was you if it was a different name when he tried messaging the account? It had a picture of me. He knew it was me. I can call to discuss tomorrow if this is easier. And then he called me the next day and I explained, like, he knew it was me. It's a photo of me, he knows what I look like. Like, it was a picture of me holding a drink, and you can see I've got very distinctive tattoos. He knew it was me, no matter how much my appearance has changed, which is, I think, one thing you do when you come out of, like, a relationship like that. You want to change everything about yourself. I went from brown hair to blonde hair. I had all my fillers dissolved in my face and got rid of them all. I just wanted a fresh start as a new person. And I thought, like, these situations either make or break a woman. And to me, like, I wasn't going to allow my kids to see me upset any longer because they saw it for too long and it was affecting my children way too much. Yeah, and even May last year, I emailed the police officer again, May last year, 2024. Hi Zoe, sorry I missed your call. Just seeing it now. I was just wanting to let you know that has been in touch with my friend, and it seems he is now trying to blackmail us both via her. So that was when he got in touch with my friend. Thank you, guys. So yeah, I don't want to go too into detail, but obviously he did take his own life at the beginning of this month, and I was absolutely devastated. If anyone knew me, I sobbed for days and days. And I think there was that part of guilt in my head that he was saying to me, if you don't drop the charges, I'm going to do it. And he said it so many times. And even the police said to me, like, when he said he tried to do it in the cell, the police officer said to me, he did not. He's lying to you to try and make you drop the charges. He was like, please do not fall for it. This is standard behaviour from a perpetrator. He said, please do not fall for it. Don't give in and drop the charges. But even the police officer said there is enough evidence here that CPS may charge anyway without you even wanting to come to court. They said they will probably do it anyway with the evidence there. So obviously, because of the DVLA thing, my charges were dropped with the speeding tickets. They just said, look, because of what has happened, we're just going to drop it. You've got the points. They'll be off in a year or two anyway. And that's that. We're going to leave it at that. They offered me obviously more victim support and things like that. Like, I had security measures all around my home because of the things this man would threaten to do to my home with my children in it. And the stuff he would say to me. And even one of the last emails I received off him before he completely went no contact during bail, it says, I had a moment of madness which I can't even remember and explain. That's not me. I saw red mist and went crazy. That's not me, Sophie. You truly know that. My recent mental health, although better, fluctuates between extremes. I am so sorry you had to deal with that. You are beautiful, Sophie, simple, and everyone knows that. Please look in that mirror and smile. That sweet soul of yours has been trampled over by everyone, and now me. I wish you the best, and please try and keep positive thoughts for your family's sake. Because he knew at this point what he'd done to me and how I deteriorated so much, like, mentally. I wasn't leaving my house. I was crying all the time. And I was scared because I was scared of what he would do, because he was two different people. Like, the side I was with isn't the same person that he became. And it terrified me. And, like, obviously when I found out that what he'd done, you don't remember the bad times you went through, and you don't remember every bruise, there's so many things that happen. Like, I am just telling you 2 of 200 things of what he did. Like, there is so much, so many times I was just degraded. I was embarrassed and humiliated by him. Like, he would speak to me awfully in front of my children and try and push my kids to do it to me as well. But then there was another side of him where he wasn't like that. And it's like, I didn't know what person was coming home from work to me. I didn't know if I was going to get the nice side of him or if I was going to get the nasty side to him. And, like, I I have to live with that now for the rest of my life, knowing that that person, and even on it, I've got a message of him saying he wants to take his life and he would never blame me for it. It's all his own mistakes, which he sent me a long time ago. I haven't had contact with this man for nearly 18 months. I don't know what's gone in his life. I don't know if maybe everything getting closer and closer to CPS charging just got too much for him. And maybe he's thought, oh God, if I get sent down or even a suspended sentence, I've lost everything. But I think a part of me in my head thought that even just maybe getting 6 months sent down would be 6 months to get clean. And when you have to live with someone who's suffering addiction, it's awful. And I would not wish it on anybody. And the stuff that we was all put through was awful. I wouldn't wish it on my own worst enemy. And I am not a person who sits on this app and says anything nasty to people. Yeah, I'll make a sly comment at somebody in response to something they say to me. But I am not a nasty person, and it's all there in evidence in the messages that I wasn't. And I think for EQ to use it the way she has against me is fucking disgusting. And I hope that karma comes tenfold to her. And I will never, ever have the slightest ounce of respect for that woman. Woman in speech marks. Because a woman doesn't behave like that. And for a woman who's supposedly been through DV herself to try twist the story that I'm the perpetrator when that clearly isn't the case. If I was the cause of what he did, why have I not been arrested? It would be manslaughter, would it not? I've not been questioned. I've had nothing but full support from the police. And I think even what Rickster did last night as well, saying, I know 100% she was at her ex's funeral. Now, I'm telling you now, if you're going to make stories up, don't let them contradict themselves. Because if I was this awful person that his family got in touch with you all about, why would they approve me being at... 1 second. Right, I'm alright. No. Sorry guys, Harvey heard me and wanted to make sure it was alright, and Blake came running down as well, bless him. But this is the thing, if I was such a bad person and I did all this to this man, why would I have been there, and why would they then be contacting EQ? And why is it such a thing for EQ to make this whole storyline up? Because even just as little as them saying that they said like he had 2 sons, he doesn't have 2 sons. And that isn't his wife's name, he never had a wife. So this shows that you haven't spoke to a family at all about anything. And to make a fake phone call, and for Rickster as well to say he knew 100%. Now I'm going to show proof. I shouldn't have to keep showing proof. I lost my granddad and my ex in the matter of 2 weeks. So here is the messages between me and my nana. I text her Tuesday the 25th of Feb. Hi Nana, hope everything went okay yesterday, because that was when she had the celebrant come into our house to just talk about the music and the speeches for the funeral. What date is the funeral exactly, and the details? I'm going to see if I can sort out childcare. She replied back, hi Sophie, the lady who came was lovely. I've just got back from Scarborough as obviously died in hospital there. I had to go register his death. It was all traumatic for me, but now I need a rest from it all as it's been difficult doing everything. The funeral is Friday the 7th of March at 10:30 at East Riding Crematorium, Octon. I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten since this morning. Lovely seeing you again. Bye for now. And then I've got a text on Saturday the 8th of March off my nana saying, thank you so much for coming to the celebration of his life, Sophie. I was so pleased when your dad spotted your car in the car park. So there you have it. Proof from my nana herself that I was at my granddad's funeral. And I think for Rickster to say, you know, this is Rickster who 120% knew who Canadian Angie was. 100% knew that I was at my ex's. And the thing is as well, guys, is that Talia has been slyly making digs at this for the last week, saying whose funeral was you at. Obviously, you guys didn't know. Anyone that watches them wouldn't know what she was on about. This is what she was on about. It was her way to try get at me. It was never going to get at me. I'm not upset because of what people have said. I'm upset because I shouldn't have to come on live and explain my trauma that me and my children and now 2 other suffering children are going through, losing their dad. It is not something for the internet. There's a reason I kept it off. And to sit there and say, Rickster said she's been going live, doesn't care. I didn't go live for nearly a week. I only started coming live because this is my income. And the reason I haven't put gifts on now is because I'm not going to monetize off the loss of my ex. That is not something I'm here to do. EQ can monetize off people's trauma and off the horrible things and suffering people have been through, but that is not something I'm ever going to do. And I never would do that. And I've never been one to question anybody on anything they've been through. I've never said anyone has to pull up receipts and prove anything, because to me, no one should have to prove anything. If you choose not to believe me in any of this, then that's on you. So be it. I know what happened. I was there. I lived that hell in real time. And I was the one who had to move away, start a whole new life away from all my family, away from all my friends. Do you know the last time I saw my friends? Maybe 4 months ago. That's the last time I saw my friends. I didn't even tell them. I told one of my friends where I moved. No one else even knew. Because I was so scared that it would get back to him and he'd find out. And then when my address got doxed on here a few months ago, somebody tried my back door. Now, the real reason I got my dog to begin with was for a bit of added security. Because I'm a heavy sleeper and I thought he'll bark if someone comes to the door or something. And one night he was barking like crazy at 2 a.m. I went down to the back door. It was obviously locked, so I thought, what's he barking at? I went out the front of the house and my side gate was wide open. So someone had been and tried my back door because the dog can see the back door from his crate. So I knew then that someone had been to my house. I obviously contacted the police, but I wasn't caught on footage because my Ring doorbell at the time only covered my driveway. It didn't cover the path going down the side of the house, which was obviously a stupid mistake of me. So obviously I've extended it now so I could catch it. Yeah, I gave Levi access to my Ring doorbell because I was living in that much fear that because I didn't care anyone having my address. I cared about my ex getting my address because of the things he did to me, which I said numerous times on live at the time, was that I don't care who has my address, it's just him, I don't want to have it. And Levi, because Levi's a night owl, he would watch it, and if anything went off in the night, he'd go straight on it, and he said if I see anything, I will just do it and call the police. I have a marker on my phone, so if I call the police, they will come instantly without me even having to explain why I've called. They would just turn up to make sure I'm safe because of what I've been through. Now, is that someone who is the perpetrator, or is that someone who has survived an absolutely awful traumatic experience? And I think for these people to keep trying to use it against me, you know, if we're going to have the energy for EQ now, guys, we need to have that exact same energy for Rickster and Talia. And I will not ever, after today, I will not mention EQ, Rickster or Talia on my show whatsoever. This is a complete blackout for them. I never sent EQ them letters. I've had numerous messages off people saying they think Black Pope did it. I'm not sadistic like that to send something. I've sent a glitter bomb. I'm a complete troll. Like, I joke around. I would not send anything that is joking about somebody being unalive when I have just gone through 2 very traumatic losses in my life in the last month. And I think for somebody, for her it's being pinned on me because I'm an easy target. I do not live in West Yorkshire. I do not have green gel pens. And if I was going to throw anyone under the bus, I wouldn't throw Corey under the bus and say it was from him on the card. And I'm still waiting for these cards to supposedly get posted. Do I believe she received them? Yes. I believe she did receive some cards. I think deep down she might know who it is, but she's trying to pin it on me. Because if you notice this repeat pattern, she's going around every person that does FYP shows. It was Miss Remy, then it was me. Now it's Delusive Angie. Tomorrow, the day after, it'll be Alex Brigham. The day after that, it'll be, I don't even know who else does it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it'll be Luke. It's always going to be someone else. But to me, I couldn't care less. And the fact Gracie's got involvement by sending that phone call, because that's not EQ recording it. You can blatantly see that that's Gracie. It's too clear. It's not through a phone call. It's clear. Gracie is involved in this in some way. Now, all I'm going to say about Gracie is that you are ugly on the inside. You will have a very miserable, long marriage. That man probably feels trapped with you. I hope you spill red wine down your wedding dress before you even walk down the aisle. And I hope your cake tastes like shit, and I hope it rains all day. Because I would not wish anything bad on someone, but to me, that's probably the worst I can wish on you without getting too deep. And I think all this, Gracie doesn't do anything. Gracie stayed out the drama. Gracie is involved behind the scenes. Now, I just come on here 2 hours a night, do my little show, and come off. I don't sit gossiping about people all day. Yeah, big up the loss of the 4K. Big up PD. It couldn't have happened to a better person. So, do you know what? Like, it's not going to affect me. It's not going to make me hit breaking point like Rickster said. Rickster said Sophie's never going to show her face on this app again after this, what she's been exposed for. Say that I was the abuser, I was this and that. That's Rich coming from a man who doesn't see his kids, whose kid's mum has accused him of that. But, let's go Claire's Law for Claire's Law over here, Rickster. You post yours and I'll get Levi to post his. And we'll see whose comes up clean and whose doesn't. Because I did one on Levi. Because that's, when you've been through that kind of relationship, you keep your guard up, very much so. And his came back completely clean with nothing on it. So I'd love to see what yours says, Rickster. So you've got, I don't know, ask Talia to request it from the police. Can take up to 28 days. Obviously, if it's quite extensive allegations on it, they'll probably get in touch with her sooner. But I will not be defeated by people who their source of entertainment is to try bring someone down. I had to move away. I lost everything. My job, what I thought was my forever home with my partner at the time and my kids. And I had to start all over again. I don't have family support to help me with childcare. So this is why I do this, because it works for me. It's my couple hours of entertainment and talking to adults. I'm just a nerd in my box. Literally, you are. You're just a nerd in your box room. He does no harm to anyone. Yeah, this is the thing. So I didn't... This is another thing my ex did. He used to ring social services every day and tell them the same thing. Said I had no food in my fridge for my kids. And they actually turned up and did a spot check, and they were shocked by how opposite I was to the allegations made. He told them that I was a brass and I had men coming and going from the house. They were paying me, which wasn't true. Like the stuff he said about me, and obviously the police found evidence that it was him on his phone making the anonymous calls when they took his devices. So that goes towards the stalking and harassment. So I think a lot of people don't, to read out a speech or like a post, a memoir that someone's written about somebody when they've died. When have you ever been to a funeral or seen someone write that was friends with them a nasty memoir on somebody? I don't even think it would be allowed at a funeral to do that. And even myself, when I found out the news, I just remembered the good times. I didn't remember anything bad that happened until literally Levi said to me, Sophie, this man put you through hell. Why are you so upset? He was like, the stuff he did to you. Like, I would cry just randomly in the night. And even it took Levi by shock when I first stayed at his, and he was like, you just woke up in the night crying, but you weren't awake. It was weird. And that was what the trauma did to me. I would be sobbing in my sleep, scared, because it would just come to me in a dream, like what had happened. And then I'd cry again, and then I'd wake up and I didn't even know I'd been crying. And it's like, if you've not been through that, you don't know. And this is why I'm not going to sit here and question what trauma EQ's been through. There must have been a lot for it to make such a drastic change in her life. And I think it must take a mental toll on someone massively. I don't know if there's any, side effects to the medication she has to take or anything. But to me, you are a very mentally ill person. And I really do hope that you find peace like I did. And you learn how to just appreciate life and not feel like you're in competition with every woman. Because I felt like that at one point. Every woman's felt like that at some point, where you don't feel good enough and you're comparing yourself to other women all the time. And that's not something that I would ever want to feel like now. I've learned that what you see on social media isn't everything. People have probably seen me for the last month and thought, God, Sophie's like such a lovely girl. Look how happy she is all the time. When I was crying, when I wasn't on live, I was on the phone to Miss Red sobbing about it because she could relate. She's been through the same thing. And I'm sure Miss Red will speak on that tomorrow. But to try and monetize off somebody taking their own life, which you clearly did monetize on because it doubled your income from the day before, I think it's disgusting. And I think you really need a good hard look in the mirror and hope it doesn't crack. Because the people like EQ, Gracie, Talia and Rickster, that is it for them. They're done as far as I'm concerned. To lie and manipulate a story when I've been through so much is just disgusting. And I'm so glad that she's kind of got the backlash that I hope she'd get from this, because to me, how can you support someone doing that? Because I couldn't. If one of my friends or, anybody that I knew was treating somebody like that, I would be done. I'd be saying, no, this is too far. But I'm telling you now that Gracie is in on it all behind the scenes. And for Richter and Talia to sit there on their agency account on live saying the most vulgar things, I'm just going to call them toupee and fog on, because that's all I see and hear when I see their faces. But to sit and twist a story saying we know this, we know that, you don't know shit. You don't know shit, and I'll tell you why you don't know shit. Because nobody tells you shit. Because you talk that much shit that no one believes anything you say anymore. And when you start acting like that and acting like a fool, any argument you have, you've lost instantly. And when you have to bring up, I've said that on live before, that to me, people's families, things like that should not be dragged into lives and become a topic of discussion. I did it in defence of Lynn's, saying when Rickster was trying to out her with her ex-partner who's in jail, who gives a fuck? What has it got to do with you? Like, why are you being so intrusive in people's personal lives that you think that you have a right to know that information and that's exposing someone? That's not exposing someone. Exactly. This is what I mean. I'm not one to drag someone's appearances, but Gracie, to go around acting like a mean girl when you had to pay to change your appearance, same with EQ. You look how you want to look because you paid money to get there. Because you were that unhappy in yourself, you had to change yourself completely. Both of you did. I won't speak for Talia because obviously Talia is very natural. She made a point of saying that the other day, that she's so naturally beautiful compared to me or whatever else. Yeah, you look good for 40. I'll give you it. I'm not going to slate someone's appearance. Your partner, on the other hand, he's high from the glue fumes from his scalp. I swear to God. But you know, I'm not a fake looking person. I haven't had any surgery. I've had all the filler removed from my face. I am happy, and I feel like I'm me again, because I wasn't me for so long. I couldn't even feel like I could be a mother to my kids at the time because I just couldn't be happy in myself. And it's took me so much therapy, counselling, like time spent in bed crying, like everything I've been through, just laid in bed with my friend, with her just cuddling me all day because I'm sobbing. The amount of hours spent like that to overcome everything and be how I am now. So I will never ever take shit off a man ever again. And if any other man tries to come for me on this app the way that Rickster has, or shall I say it? No, I'm not going to say it. But do you know what I mean? It's not going to happen, unfortunately. You're not going to drive me off the app, Rickster, like you keep saying. You're not. I will never be a victim of anything. And I've spoke highly on, I will not allow EQ to be an advocate for DV when she's quite blatantly the perpetrator. And I don't feel like I should have had to share this. And the reason I've not put all the screenshots up is out of respect for 2 children, my children as well, that could see it one day as well. And I obviously didn't want it all caught on screen recordings with personal information, crime reference numbers, the police officers' names in question, people's numbers. I'm not going to do that. But you've got your facts all wrong. There was no wife. The partner in question, the mother of the kids, was a white British woman. And there was a boy and a girl, not 2 boys. So this is how I know that there was no contact with the family made, and there is not a brother called Hamza. So I'm now going to end my live, make another cup of tea, pull myself together, and come back on and do FYP as normal for the next hour and a half or so. I will not ever discuss this subject ever again. I will not go around jumping in boxes and make a hate campaign for these people, because they will be their own ruin. They don't need me to do that. They've done that themselves. And as in Talia's words, you've made your bed, lay in it, you bitch.